All right, y'all. What's good? Welcome back to another episode of A Word with the Wise. This time we're here in the domain. I got a very talented individual and a good friend, Zach. Zach, let the people know a little something about yourself.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Zach. Go by H, potential music producer from Austin. Grew up in the West Coast. And I'm willing to share a little bit about me.
So basically, every time I kind of just started off like, what was your into music? What you do it for? Like how'd you get around it?
Oh man, so like how did I get involved?
Yeah.
I mean, really, man, it's just kind of off of inspiration growing up. You know, listening to a lot of oldies, a lot of my favorite stuff I like to listen to, and it's just kind of like it took me on a journey, man. It just kind of introduced me to something different.
Yeah.
And as I gotten older and got more accumulated with music and the sound and music theory and the why, as far as like why a lot of artists have made this, or why a lot of producers produce this and produce that.
Yeah.
Kind of the same mode that we be in, you know what I mean? It's all about what just drew us to it, what point in time in life, that we may have been going through, or kind of as you get older, you kind of have the nostalgia of things you heard before, and you kind of like, you get into that world of it, and it's just kind of like, well, damn, how can I share this with everyone else?
Yeah, at some point it becomes like a necessity of expression. Like we go through so much, and as humans we can only take in and bottle it so much. So Absolutely. It's like at some point, how do you have that release? Yeah. Some people have like sports, they have I don't know, their hobbies and whatnot. So it's like we have to find a way to kind of get it out and stuff. So like you said, especially through experiences like to where your emotional well-being needs to like transpire into something else of just relief and grief, or just coping ways, or just like on days where you just feel good and you want to share the world, share it with the world. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so what was it necessarily like, when was that moment where you knew that music was going to be the start of something?
Oh man, like it's crazy. I guess you can say just a lot of what Prince and Michael Jackson had did musically, man.
So pretty much the first time you heard their music? And
pretty much. Like it was just the sounds, man, like were just very revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, it's like nobody can touch that again. Yeah. It was such its own era that the masterminds released it into the world, and anybody trying to recreate that, it was damn near impossible. But I think that's the great thing, is that the fact that we can look at the past and draw inspiration from it and then create something even better or just as good, which is great. Yeah.
It's crazy you say that, because it kind of hints at too, like the 80s is like the fact that the 80s is such a revolutionary decade.
Yeah.
Just in everything. From movies to the music to the fashion.
Yeah.
Decade after decade after decade, ever since then, it's been duplicated.
Yeah.
It's been like really,
everything's been like,
it's like
chewed up, eaten, swallowed, shit it out, and then eat it again, and then like it's like
like it's something that'll never go anywhere, man. Like I mean, even in a retro-futuristic aspect.
Yeah.
Like if you look at like the cyberpunk thing, like this whole cyberpunk situation, like I love it. I think it's dope as fuck. But
it's a very interesting idea.
Yeah, but it's inspired by the 80s. Hence why I made a beat. It's called Cyberpunk Rain.
Cyberpunk Rain. Yeah.
So
Cyber Rain hit different.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. It's crazy, man, because it's like you take what that point in time has done, and as I mentioned, how it just continued to just evolve and evolve and evolve. It always finds its way back.
Yeah.
Every decade.
I know, it truly does.
And
that's something beautiful about music, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's
for sure.
Forever. It's eternal. As far as we're eternal. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but it also feels like it's just another way to like leave a message. It's another way to pass something on, like in form of sounds and in forms of waves. Like you don't see it, you just hear it. But I feel like that's something that you can touch on whenever I've like the first few interactions that we've had, where you told me about how your creation process revolves around seeing imagery and like the visuals of life that inspire you.
It's
so like so the people don't know, like, so kind of give you a little background real quick.
Wow, so that one's a really interesting one. I'm glad you brought that up because it can be at any moment in time, anywhere. Like certain colors, certain things I see, certain scenery. For example, like we were laughing about this last time. I was like, I can be a fine-ass chick walking by.
Yeah.
And she'll give me some kind of vibe. And I hear a bass line in my head. I hear some chords in my head. There'll be some type of rhythm, and I get inspired by it.
Yeah.
Or it can just be like I mentioned again, like it can be a certain scenery, or a certain picture I see of like some classical icon.
Yeah.
You know, it can be any celebrity,
Just like
any artist. And me personally, like I have pictures like that I purposely just have
that
saved
you look at, yeah.
that gives me musical inspiration. And
It's
literally
such a smart idea too.
It's crazy because it's like I can literally hear an artist's voice in my head.
Yeah.
But the lyrics doesn't come out clearly.
Yeah.
The words do not come out clearly, but I hear the way they're singing it. I hear like the rhythm of everything.
Yeah.
And I voice memo what I've heard in my head, whether it be the bass line, whether it be the artist's voice, whether it be the chords or whatever the case may be. And within 5 to 10 minutes, I have a whole concept of a beat done from beginning to end, based on just what I heard.
Off the image, man.
Just what I've heard, what
crazy.
I've seen.
Yeah.
It happens just like that.
It paints that image for you, like a whole world is created. Like I feel like your connection to that is so strong. Yeah. And I feel like so if it works well with images, so this is something that kind of inspires me sometimes is whenever like I'm watching like movies or on a binge. So do you ever feel like whenever you watch a movie or something like that even gives you more of a inspiration or more of like a world created in your mind?
Depending on what it is, man.
Yeah, right.
So I would say this, like if it's something like I said, like I'm very into like futuristic things.
Like so you probably like The Matrix, huh?
Something like
that.
Yeah, kind of. I think one of my favorite movie series I would probably say
was like
is
apocalyptic though,
yeah. Like probably like Back to the Future 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So if I watch movies, because like 3 is more like it goes back to like the old west.
Yeah. Okay.
So it has you know it has nothing to do with
you
don't really see a lot of that in modernity.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like cowboys and all of that. I'm like it's alright. For me, I mean, I don't know. Back to the Future is just like it's one of those films where it's like they were trying to foresee the future, but it didn't actually pan out to be exactly what what they were putting in the movie. But some of the things they were insinuating at that time actually did come to pass. Like the big screens and everything.
Yeah, that is
New York City.
Yeah.
Cities like Tokyo and LA, that got like all these big major screens and billboards and everything, stuff like that, which is dope.
Yeah, it is always interesting to see like how filmmaker and director, writers, like connection to what they're writing and visualizing into trying to see what life would be like. Like, I mean, it's true, and that's one of the things every time you're talking about like cyber or future, I think about like how movies like iRobot or with the Will Smith and like there's a future of just AI that's kind of like evil or whatever. It's like there's some universal law out there that's like if it's most likely to happen, it will happen. And I think it's Murphy's Law. I'm not quite sure, but like the idea that how do these writers come up with stuff like that? Like a world where it's a future, and it's like, well, if you think about it, we're kind of living in that world where China, Asian countries, Elon Musk, and probably a bunch of private people are creating their own AIs, their own robots, and their own systems. And it's like the China trade shows they have these AI robots with a realistic skin and whatever. But I feel like don't you think that could lead to the possible, AI revolution of like how the iRobots is? And it's like, this is the timeline we're living. We're living in, 2023. We're on the kind of the edge of like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is kind of catching on to the mainstream. You got AI kind of breaking through right now. I don't know if you've noticed all the stuff going on with AI. It's like they're building houses. They're probably gonna build skyscrapers and they're driving cars. The whole future of AI kind of taking over. I don't know. What do you feel about that? Just because in the idea of prediction and writing and.
I mean, I'll put it this way. Like, I mean, being actually humans, like, for us, I think it's like, I mean, I think we should keep it as it is.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, as a form of like creativity, as a form of.
See, I mean, that's one thing they're talking about is that AI is stealing creativity. Yeah, so.
But I mean, I think what'll happen is that it'll kind of take away the more human elements. Yeah. It'll make us more lazy. Which one of my favorite movies, still to this day, and even as a kid, I enjoyed was WALL-E.
WALL-E, yes.
And the end of the movie, he was very subliminal. It insinuated a lot.
Yeah,
I don't think very many people caught on to it. But
I mean, they're meant for kids, but the adults who are watching too are realizing, wait a minute,
Oh yeah.
Like,
but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But for what it's worth, man. But
I think it's hard to say because the universe is so fragile too. Like humanity as a society. Like one thing from COVID one thing to like global obesity or greenhouse gases or like ozone stuff.
True.
It's like I kind of thought about the other day, like what if so you know how in movies there's like a catastrophic event or something, like The Rock is in and it's just like oh shit, the world is going to shambles. I mean, what's to say that could happen, So if if that were to all of a sudden happen, like you're making music, you're just chilling, and then now national emergency, your mom's probably takes dad, family, friends, like, hey, check the news, whatever, shit's going down, like the only music you could listen to from then on out, you had 3 artists to listen to. The only things you can listen to until the world ends, Fallout. What are you listening
to? If I had to pick?
Yeah.
Damn, that's a hard one.
Yeah, I know. I've never thought anything about like that, but I want to say Gambino because he's one of my favorite artists, but also his discography isn't that long either. So
I would probably if I'm a really just dive in like that, as far as people I love to listen to, man, if I had only 3 choices, it'd be definitely Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi's one of my favorite artists. Thank you for saying that.
So Cudi would be one.
Explains why you're so chill, bro. Immediately why we vibe.
Hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, so it's definitely Cudi, man. Love Cudi. Second one would probably be Disclosure. I don't know if you ever heard Disclosure.
I've heard Disclosure.
Love Disclosure.
Yeah. Don't they have a
duo, the brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Disclosure and probably oh damn! How did I not? Oh my God!
What?
It's so many of them now that I think about it. But you only said 3, so I'll stick with 3.
Yeah.
So it'll be Cudi, Disclosure, and I'll probably go between either Machine Drum. Machine Drum, or either Machine Drum alone.
Okay, what kind of genres are those?
It's pretty interesting. So they're like electronic / garage. So it's really interesting.
Electronic / garage.
Yeah. So it's it's more of a UK sound.
Okay. No, I'm fine with that. I like that.
Yeah. If you haven't
show me some of that. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
You said Lone or
if
Machine Drum?
If you listen to Mind Sign.
Is that what it is? I thought it was Mind Design.
Mind Design.
Or is it Mind? Actually, you're right. It might be Mind Sign.
Oh no,
Mind Sign because MND and then SGN.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I've been
listening. Something new every day.
Yeah, I've been listening to him for like a while now. Yeah. Like I think the first time I heard Mind Sign was because I used to always listen to a lot of Selection on SoundCloud.
Selection, yeah.
So I love Selection. So that's where I found all of my favorite people to listen to. So that's how I discovered like Gene Drum. I discovered him there. Sam Galatry. Flying Lotus, Thundercat.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in the West Coast as well, know, so like a lot of heat has come out of the West. As far as producers and as well as overseas.
Yeah.
And I'm just a music person, so it's like I just like whatever is my vibe. I like to wherever it is in the world, I like to listen to.
Yeah, of course.
From any country, even if I don't know the language, if the beat or the sound is what I like. Especially like video game music.
Yeah.
Like that's why hence why I like to listen to from time to time. I like to listen to a lot of like music from Japan because the art, like the musicians there, bro. I don't know what it is that goes through that mind, but like it's very like euphoric.
Yeah.
Like
really
the sounds, just the sounds that they can come up with.
They just resonate different. It feels good.
And it's probably why I'm such a big Neptunes fan. Like Pharrell, Chad, and all of them.
I'm thinking? It makes a lot of sense because if they're on the other side of the world from what we're used to, they're already moving on different vibrations and different frequencies. So then when they apply themselves to make the music, it's like that even double amplified it to create something even more so. It's like we know it, but we don't. It's like a familiar sound, but it makes you feel good and it's like nostalgic and it's like transcending of just a boundary. Like it's just free. It's
crazy too because like I also find myself listening to a lot of like old Nintendo soundtracks or like just go on YouTube
some stuff like that.
And I listen to the entire playlist of like
I
mean like for example like one of my favorite Mario Kart instrumentals is
Rainbow
well not that one but it's Turnpike something but it's when you're racing on the freeway.
Turnpike something? Okay.
Yeah, and like the bass line's like it's actually at the beginning when you pick your characters.
Yeah. I know.
And it's like and then they have like that one sound effect that goes and then it's like and like what I picture in my mind, man, is just like it's like nighttime. and you're in like some city, I don't
Yeah.
know where. Though.
You're
It
moving.
could be like
you're
probably
going to a function.
yeah,
like,
it could be like San Francisco at night or something like that, and it's kind of like the sun's going down, and it's like that's that
Yeah.
like I mean it's like I don't know, man. It's crazy how how music hits me.
No, yeah.
And that also ties into like when it comes to the sounds and like what I make, you know, the beats that I make.
Yeah.
The sounds that I hear in my mind and like those feelings that attach to whatever comes out.
Yeah.
I try to make something that I feel or that I believe that someone else will also be connected to.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I think that's a big,
guarantee,
huge
like a lot of people, if they heard it, they would feel the emotion behind it. So it'll probably be something in their life, which a lot of people have told me this before. Like a lot of people have mentioned based on certain songs or beats that they've heard that I've made. They're like, where the hell did you like? What were you thinking?
Yeah, like
in that
what headspace were you in? Yeah.
Yeah, and like they're like describe it to me, and it's like that's weird that they say that because it was exactly how I felt at that moment. Or they'll share a story of like how they felt or where the beat took them. So it's like for me, it's all about the journey. Like I like to take the listener on a ride. You know, like that's what
creates. It just creates like we always say like another world. Like you're able to remove yourself from what's already here, and just listen. Close your eyes and let the pictures, the images follow you, and like the feelings of whether it's warm or cold or sad. Like it just makes you forget about like just whatever's going on. You just hop on a ride for a second. Nothing else matters. You just headphones or stereo, just let it run and let it take you.
It's kind of like what Prince said in his song. He has a song called Purple Music.
Purple Music, yeah.
And he was like, the lyrics is basically like, don't need no reefer, don't need cocaine. Purple music does the same to my brain and I'm high.
Yeah.
And basically what he was insinuating, I'm sure you already know.
Yeah.
It's like just musically, naturally, like he
gets
of
music.
Yeah, you know, he naturally gets a high off of it, and like that's what it does.
I think if when you make music and you don't get that feeling, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Because something about that creation process that it takes a piece of your heart.
There's definitely an attachment,
and it's like you gotta just have to give it up because that's exactly like what you want. It's like yes, I'm able to put a piece of myself into however I express myself, and it makes you proud. It makes you feel good. Like it's just a feeling that nobody else can take away from you. I think that's so important. No, yeah, for sure. I would say like off the rip, like I wouldn't expected you to say that you made that '80s pop type or Michael Jackson type. Like most of the time when people are coming to me, they're trying to make hip hop, trying to make rap or whatever, and that's what's immediately stood out to you, or to me. So if you were to offer advice to somebody who wants to be in your position when it comes to music and finding yourself and kind of just enjoying the journey and experimenting, a kid who just is figuring it out now, what would you say to him? Like something to help him along the way.
Oh man, it's a really good question because I mean, this is one that makes me kind of reflect back. You know, 18, 19, 20.
Yeah, literally.
I'll be 30 in January.
Yeah.
That's young. But my best advice, man, to any young fella out there that's wanting to kind of dive into the world of it and really just want to express themselves through it. It's like find who you are. Figure out who you are.
And that takes time. Yeah, that takes years.
And the thing is that you wanna ride your own wave, man, because everyone shoots in their own basket. As a person that played basketball growing up, that was one of my favorite things. Like that was something I just came up with years ago. I was just kind of like every single person shoots in their own basket, man. And ride your own wave, because when you ride your own wave, you get more respect from people because it's like with them, like this guy's doing his own thing. You know what I mean? And not only that, but when you just be more humble, you be more modest, and just kind of down to earth, just keep an open energy. Don't too much close yourself away, or you know what I mean, like that.
And be open to experiences and opportunities, things that
and,
may not present themselves if you're not paying attention.
Like,
and that's a big thing.
Like for myself, like for me, it's just like I find myself to be a really down to earth individual. Talk to everybody, kick it with everybody, but at the end of the day, I stick to me. I stick to who I am. I stick to what I like. And you know, it's just kind of how you gain respect from people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's really not that complex, honestly.
All right, and then second part of the question, what would you tell yourself if you go back in time about the musical journey and things that kind of help him out? I guess you in,
well,
I don't know, you in 8th grade.
Shit, like almost 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was just probably like, just tell myself, man, and just continue to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you know, ride your own wave. Because I've honestly, to be honest, man,
no, be specific. Let them know something.
I've never been.
This is like Back to the Future, bro. Like you get to
no one's ever influenced me. Like a lot of my friends, older friends, associates, anyone that knows me, like they've always known. They were like, "Well, shit, Zach always done his own thing."
Yeah.
They'll joke around with me, you know. They don't make fun of me. It's kind of like, "Well, Zach likes this, he likes that." Yeah. Like everybody else like to jam, Lil Wayne, and I jam Wayne too. Yeah. Just saying, just to make a point. Of course. You know, I like to jam NERD, or I jam like some rock or some, you know, something like that. But everybody else is strictly hip hop. Yeah. But everybody else knew
the people that are around you, bro. They just
everyone knew that I was very alternative. They knew I was alternative. Yeah. You know, that's what people respected about me, because it's like, though I was on that wave, that was my wave. Yeah. I was still the same person. I was still cool. I was easy to kick it with. I still kicked it with the same people. I was a live and let live, and still am a live and let live individual. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like, at the end of the day, like everyone has to live between, you know, they have to live for themselves. They have to live between everything in life they see between their own two eyes. I don't. Yeah. You see your own way, and everyone else around me. Yeah. I see my own way and everyone else around me. Yeah. So it's kind of like, you know, just sticking to self. Yeah. Like it's nothing more or less. Yeah.
So a question to close out the interview. What would you say is your goal, your mission in your musical journey, and extending on to, you know, next like 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Kind of the immediate future, like.
I feel what you mean. Really just to express more, just to kind of put myself out there more. Yeah. Not just really musically, but as a person. Because what I've learned, and these are from people that I look up to. Yeah. We do different genres of music, you know, but these are older cats, you know, and they know what they're talking about. And I have a respect for them. And the biggest thing they said was to really be more attachable. Yeah. You know, you want
attachable?
Yeah. What that means is you want people to be more involved with who you are as a person, not just the music. They can listen to the music all day long, but who is the person behind it? Yeah. You know what I mean?
The face behind it.
The face behind it, you know? So it's like, they can easily listen to your music all day long, but then, okay, that's it. Oh, this is dope. Yeah. Cool, I like this. Bro. Yeah. But
how about even in like a decent person? Right. Man, like,
yeah, you know, but how about like we're doing this interview right now? Yeah. Through this interview, people are figuring out who I am. You know, they're getting to know who I am maybe for the first time. For those who don't know who I am.
Exactly.
And that's one way. You know, and it's with anybody else. It's with some of our favorite musicians. It's like, okay, we can listen to their music all day, but like, we're more interested in the interviews than the music. Yeah. 100%. Because we're like, okay, the music's dope, like, but honestly, who are they as a person though?
Like, so that's how we show ourselves through our music, our expressions, but we often don't have time or have the space to just kind of tell about ourselves, and like, who's gonna just start talking on a video to like tell your social media real quick, and they could never understand. It's like the perfect place to kind of get somebody to open up and just tell their stories, just a calm place, and just open it open, right? Yeah.
This is more of a who's the human, like who's the human behind it?
Who is Zach the human? You know what I mean?
You know, like
not the artist.
Yeah, like who is the human? Like what is this person like? Like are they very charismatic? Are they really laid back? Are they a lot like me? Are they not like me? Are they asshole? You know, it does variations. You know, and that's just what people want to know.
All right. Well, that'll about do it, guys. It's getting pretty dark. Honestly, bro, I just got dark too fast. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been Be the Wiser, your host with the most, the GOAT.
It's your guy, Age, man.
Yes, sir.
a.k.a. Zach. Everybody know me as Zach, man. So.